here with Jenna Galbut. Jenna, this is actually my first time ever actually talking to you outside of email, which is great. And so anybody watching right now, you guys are actually getting a chance to meet her along with me. So I'm gonna let you do your whole brag about yourself. Who are you? What do you do? And why should we listen to you? It's a good.
All right, cool. I can deal with that. All right. So as of right now, I'm 25 years old. I'm a transformational guide, a writer, an inspirational and motivational speaker. Working on my first book right now, doing a bunch of speaking events. I also do client work. I'm a spiritual life coach, also Reiki healer, and also doing yoga.
And you golf 9 times a day?
Well, when I find time in the day. I graduated from Cornell and studied philosophy, psychology, and neurology. Really totally dedicated to changing the world and helping people along the way. And as soon as I got out, I kind of realized that I wanted to become an entrepreneur and do this whole thing on my own somehow. And now I'm really dedicated to coaching others to kind of hack into their own freedom and live their purpose fully. And also, other than that whole little spiel, the thing that I think I'm really the most proud of myself is the amount of stuff that I overcame. Mm-hmm. So as a child, I know a little bit about you, so it's kind of similar, but I owe so much of my hardships, my suffering, my struggles. I believe so strongly that all those things helped me become who I am now. Every single diagnosis as a child with depression disorder, anxiety, ADD, ADHD, OCD, and dyslexia, being forced into resource level classes, being told that I was worthless and going to become nothing. All of that I overcame, and I'm here today, and I want to make sure that every single person in the world believes that they can overcome anything and just believes how worthy they are and how absolutely amazing they could be, and they are right now.
I love it. So that's to be based on getting their term of success, right? So the cool part is that you're leading into this. First off, I'm gonna have 2 questions here to find a way to answer. The first one is going to be, what is the redefining of success? And then 2, how do you get over that stuff? How did you get past it all?
Okay. The second question is huge, but I'll try to answer quickly. So first, I want to redefine success in a lot of different ways, and I do want to do it together. One big way that I want to redefine success is kind of questioning the current map or current definition of success that our society. You like that slip?
Yeah. That too.
Oh, good Freudian slip. The definition of success that our society currently has. And I really want to dive into that. And I think that so much of success, what I think success is it comes from within, and it's self-directed, and it's when you're autonomous, and it has to do just as much going internal as it does with your contribution to the outer world. And I really want to talk about both of these ways. And it has nothing to do with the titles or the achievements or the awards. Because as I mentioned, I did graduate from Cornell, and I have done a bunch of awesome things that, quote unquote, on paper, anyone would call super successful or whatever. And to me, none of those things make me successful at all. What makes me successful are the days that I get a message from someone saying I changed their life for the better. Someone saying, hey, I was about to commit suicide and I read you talking about how you were about to also and how you overcame it. And knowing that I literally just helped someone's life, that is success.
Non-altruistic type stuff. Yeah.
That's success.
Helping others is pretty much boiling down. It's synthesized. It's helping others. But I think the success thing isn't even it's not something you can hold. It's not something you can actually hold.
Exactly. It's not about what you can get. It's about what you can give. And it's not about how much stuff is going to be on your wall and how many diplomas you have. And those things are amazing, but those things aren't the end all be all. And one of the huge principles that I have is don't treat anything as an end in themselves. Don't treat anything as a means to an end. Everything needs to be an end in themselves. So this idea, it comes from Immanuel Kant. And he had this whole idea of treating people, place everything as an end in themselves. And this is the idea of if you're doing something for the award, or if you're going to school every day and you hate and you're miserable, but you're doing it for the diploma, that necessarily isn't a successful thing and you weren't happy along the way. But if every single day in the moment you're in it and you're living it and you're happy and you're doing it, that's successful in of itself, even before you win the award, even before you get the title, even before you get the big award. You are successful because every day you are self-motivated, you are autonomous, you believe in yourself, you're doing good things, you're feeling good, and you're contributing, and you're growing.
Yeah, it's funny. There's you ever read the book Mastery?
No, who's the author?
Oh, let me find out. I think
Ooh, I love new books. Give it to me.
I'm gonna get this book out called Mastery. If I can find it. Mastery right here is the book that talks about the way of Aikido. And it's funny that it talks about like Aikido is, I guess, a very like rigorous, long process to finally like reach the new belt, right? And so what happens is it talks about the 4 different types of people that essentially are going through life. Some people like the very quick spurt of getting great success, and all of a sudden they fall off, right? And they're like, well, they try something new. There's some people that they get into something and they're only going to start it if they're good. They don't even care to try it. Like if they're not good, right? So if they're good, great. It's kind of even based on that concept of like Carol Dweck's mindset, the fixed base mindset. Yeah. And then it's kind of cool. But Aikido, it's like it gets to this point where the path is so rigorous, you fall in love with it. And the end result's like, oh, cool, I got it. But you still get there. And so me and one of my previous podcasts, a guy named Nick Kusmich, we're talking about the destination is the journey.
Yes.
So when you get to that point where the destination is like, I'm on my journey and this was my destination. I'm here now. Yeah. I'm just doing this. This is my thing. I love it. So then exactly let's cycle back to how did you get out of that and how do other people get out? Like, how do you tell someone, look, you're in this place, you're maybe some people watching now have had these ideas of like, gosh, like you might be poking holes in someone's life right now, which is very feasible, right?
Yeah.
So in that, if they're going to say, okay, well, give me some clarity, like how did you get out of it? How can I get out of it?
Okay. So it's kind of hilarious. I'm currently writing a book that 8 chapters are dedicated to this exact question, but I'll try to answer it very quickly. Okay, so one huge thing, and for me at least, was realizing this idea that every single moment of suffering that we're in is really an opportunity to learn a lesson. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because when I was so depressed, if anyone said to me, things like, oh, like, pick yourself up, or like, hey, there's something good in this, or whatever, like anything that anyone would say, these like cheesy lines when I was in that state, I literally would want to like punch them in the face and be like, get out. Like, you don't understand this. I don't want to get up. Like, I can't get out of bed. Everything is heavy. Like, how you don't understand. Uh-huh. And I think that a huge shift for me was allowing myself to feel what I felt. Mm-hmm. And I think that so many people, when they're in suffering, half of the time it's so much worse and it's so much harder to ever get out of it, because half of the story that we tell ourselves is the story of guilt and shame and blame and like, why are we here? And we're just like beating ourselves over again and again and again. And we're digging ourselves deeper into what we feel. And instead, when we sit and we say, okay, you know what? I allow myself to feel this way. And I'm giving myself the space to feel it, to allow grace to come in and help me here, and to just like, for a moment, get comfortable in the discomfort. Mm-hmm. And I know that it's a little bit like metaphorical, but honestly, like, yeah. And if you sit in it, like, you're an athlete. Like, if you're pulling those weights up and you're like, oh, this is so hard. Oh, this is so hard. And you're telling yourself that story, it becomes harder. But if instead you just bring your awareness to the pain itself, if you sit in it long enough, it kind of like disappears and you're kind of in it itself versus the judgment of it. And then you're able to actually look at it from an observer point of view and actually transmute it in a really positive, powerful way.
Yeah, it makes complete sense. A buddy of mine, I got a call today of all things we're talking about. His wife just served him with divorce papers. Like, he's like, I know, it's tough. And I'm like, he's like, what do I do with this? I'm like, he's like, should I go out? I want to go do stuff. Like, just do nothing. I was like, it sucks. It's the first time it's happened. I said, the best thing for you to do is not to distract yourself. Don't go and find other women. Don't go and drink. Don't do drugs. Like, just sit at your house and let it sit. And be in space with it. Pray about it if you want. But like, you got to kind of sit in this space and like you just said, you got to get comfortable in the uncomfort and in the discomfort of it, because then you kind of are able to navigate it. I feel better.
Yeah. When did you, so I've heard different parts of your journey of like different moments where that awareness was present. And at what point did you feel like that awareness was there and you like chose that and you were like, all right, I believe in it?
That happened in a lot of, I think there's different stages. I think in that there's certain things you can deal with, right? So, I mean, my story, there's a bunch of craziness, but I think, when it came to get to a great deal of clarity was the time that some ex-wife had an affair, took her back, she did it again that time. And this was not even a full year ago, right? That it took me 31 years to get to a level of where it's like in the moment, I was like, all right, this time I'm not going to do anything dumb. I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm not going to distract myself. I wouldn't say I separated myself from people in any way. I didn't like cut them off. But when I was home and I was present. with just me? How do I feel? Why do I feel like this? What is an action that my emotions want to do, but my brain saying don't do that? Like, and I would almost like have these internal conversations, and I got clear. I got clear quick. And the quicker I got clear, the faster I could navigate and get out of it to be happy.
Yeah. I love how you say, like, you started talking to yourself. So one thing that I always talk to my clients about is I'm always like, get crazy. Like, literally be okay with like seeming crazy to the world. Like, literally have these conversations with yourself. And even if you were to sit and like envision yourself in your head, and you can pinpoint, like, imagine that your brain is like this living room, right? And you have like every single hard action, every single pain that you feel, like imagine them sitting on this couch in your living room and like have a conversation with these things. Because so much of the time these things come up, and it's because they come up, the pain that we feel, it comes up because they want to be heard. Yeah. And the only way to move through them is if we allow them to have the floor and to let them speak to us. And so literally be willing to like, see, because crazy is another one of those terms that's like made up and lied to us by our system in order to create like the same person over and over again. Yeah. And yeah, and I think I'm a huge proponent in like throwing out the old dictionary that like society has like told us to believe in, and redefining everything on our own terms.
Yeah, and it's not crazy. I think crazy is really the world's way to say it's abnormal, and I'm scared of that abnormality, so you have to be crazy. Yeah, it's permission to separate myself from that, which is really at the end of the day, like those are the things that get people out. Like, I'm crazy to people, like, but I'm not crazy. I'm very peaceful and I'm happy and I'm like, I'm good. But then I'm crazy because of the things I do. But the reality is, it's just abnormal for you. And that's the only way that you can go ahead and give yourself permission to separate yourself from that being an acceptable answer or process.
Yes.
Yeah. So now I'm curious about this as we go into this realm, the science of achievement.
Yeah. Let's do it. So basically the reason why I wanted to call it that and discuss it was because I think that, I think it's Tony Robbins that says this, but it's the idea that like success leaves clues.
Yep.
And I think that one thing it's really hard again, like I just started this whole thing really recently. Mm-hmm. And one big thing that was like, my fear was like screaming at me saying like, who do you think you are to do this? You don't know anything. You're going to fail. Like, you don't know how to do any of this. Like, what? Like going on and on and on, everything that my fear and my ego was lying to me. Right. And this idea of like success leaves clues is so huge because no matter what field you're in, no matter where you are, you can follow people who are actually successful and have done amazing things in their lives, no matter what field they're in, because these laws are really universal. And so I really want to talk about some of them. And I don't want to like go on a rant.
Go on a rant, bro. Go on a rant. Wander off into.
Go on a rant. Okay. So here's something huge. Okay. So much of us, when we like find our purpose, or when we believe in the idea or the picture of the thing that's going to make us successful, or when we feel like we know who we are, it comes with a lot of fear and with a lot of uncertainty and with a lot of questioning. And we're kind of like dilly-dallying and tiptoeing, and we're not really doing it. Mm-hmm. And it's almost as if we're not really doing it because we're afraid of making the decision, because once we make the decision, we're allowing the opportunity for failure. And the thing is that you can't succeed unless the opportunity for failure also exists. Yeah. And the biggest thing you need to do is to make a decision. And I'm someone who, for like 22 years of my life, could not make a decision at all. I had like decision paralysis. Like I would sit around and be like, oh, like I want to be an artist and I want to be this and I want to be a speaker and I want to be like, there's too many things I want to do and therefore I can't do anything, because if I do anything, I would just go crazy. And so the biggest thing that I need you to do is to decide. And it's not only about deciding what it is that you want to do, but it's about deciding who it is that you believe you want to become and who it is that you really believe that you are. And part of that decision is knowing that you have something inside of you that the entire world can truly benefit from, and that decision is going to make the world a better place. So make that decision. And then after we make the decision, the next big step is like strengthening the will. And you as an athlete, I can't wait to talk about this stuff with you, because I can talk about it theoretically, but you literally have like the legit daily practice and action of it being an athlete. Mm-hmm. And an action is a huge thing, and I'll get into that in a second. But the next step is like in strengthening the will is to not only have the decision to do it, but to be so damn dedicated and committed and devoted to it. And again, it's not about being devoted to winning the Oscar or getting your diploma or winning some other award or whatever. It's about being dedicated to every moment. And it's about believing that, like, it's like kind of like you want to make your work a hobby. Like me and you would be having this exact conversation, even if it wasn't going to be a podcast for both of our thing, you know, like I'd be doing this anyways.
Yeah.
You know?
But my life usually is actually, I just recorded. I'm like, I should probably start recording these.
Right? You're like, why not? Yeah. I need to do the same, but I need your tips on how to do the podcasting stuff.
I got you. I'm creating a course on that right now.
I heard you're creating a course on that. I'm going to be the first to enroll, unless there's already other people enrolled.
No, nobody else yet.
Okay, good.
It's about 60% done, so nobody can be in yet.
Nice. Okay, good. Let me know, because I definitely want to do that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. Okay. So got to be dedicated, got to be committed to it. And then the next step about being passionate about it is like embodying it. So it's not just about like doing things in the outer world, but part of like the science of achievement is like literally it's in every vessel of your blood. Like whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is that you believe in, whatever it is that your mission, whatever it is that thing that you want to succeed at, it's literally it's like you sleep, you eat, you dream, you talk, everything is about that. Everything is motivating you to that, and everything is serving that higher purpose.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Wait, so I forgot, I wanted to talk about this like idea about higher purpose with success.
Good. I was just going to go, I'm like, so I guess one question I get all the time, like every day. How do I find my purpose? How do I get that vision? Like, what is that? How do we do that? So please fill me in.
All right. So one thing I really want to talk about, and it's a bit spiritual, but I really truly believe, since I was a little kid, I believe that each one of us comes into the world with a divine purpose. And it's something that our soul decided to do. It's like our soul mission. It's the thing that we come here to do. And what's interesting is that I think that a lot of people, maybe they think that it's too big. Like they think that their purpose has to be like becoming the CEO of a multinational crazy company, whatever. And I think that so much of the time, like your purpose might be planting a flower in that field on a specific day and being happy and smiling at people. Yeah. Like that's so much of it. Like that's your purpose. And like one thing to do is like go back to your childhood and like find the things that you've always loved, because there's always hints, there's always clues all along the way. And this purpose of yours, like, so this is what kind of attaches to success, right? So let's talk about Donald Trump for a second. So let's just imagine for a second that maybe Donald Trump's soul's mission was to be an art therapist for children. Okay. So if that was his purpose, if that's what his soul's purpose is, that's what he's like really meant to do internally, and that's the thing that he could give to the world. If that's what he's meant to do, and we look at what he's doing today, do we consider him a success? And in my mind, when I think about what his purpose is versus what he's done, I don't necessarily, I start to question his success. And when I think about, someone who like loves gardening, and if that person wants to, like, they are so good at gardening and they could plant flowers for their entire community, and they could like teach us a full new way to like grow flowers in a beautiful way, but they don't do it. And instead they, become a famous singer. Like, okay, that's cool, but that's not their purpose. That's not what they like came here to do. That's not their special thing. And that's the thing, is like every single person has a very special thing inside of them. And it's not always this like crazy, grand, huge thing. While I'm doing this, and I do believe this is my purpose, this might easily be like, my purpose might be talking to one person one day, 30 years down the road, that's gonna cure every disease on earth. And because I get it.
It's very almost like esoteric, philosophical, which I get. So I'm going to go to my alpha guy mindset. And I'm going to say that doesn't make any sense, right? But on the flip side, it makes complete sense, because if you live in a place where it's like, you have this desire to just roll out and find that purpose. Well, now I think you get close to it, because the big thing that people are going to say is like, well, how do you find that? How do you know what that is? I can look back. How do I know that's it? Because I don't want to waste time. So a lot of people say is they're indecisive because I don't want to make the wrong decision and waste time. And so what I've told people lately is like, well, like, what pulls your heartstrings? Like when you wake up in the morning, like where's your heart say it wants to go? And you keep quieting that voice. And when you listen to it, what does it tell you to do?
Yes, that's it. And usually I say the same thing. And usually it's funny because clients will sometimes say like, okay, well, I wanted to do this and I wanted to do that and whatever. And those things that they're talking about are specific jobs or specific titles or things that already exist. Mm-hmm. And when I ask them that question, right, it's something like subtle. It's something that's like hard to describe. And the thing that's calling their heart every day when they wake up, it's something oftentimes like doesn't really exist, or like there's not a specific job, like there's not a specific major in college in order to do that thing. And it's hard because, you know, we're trained to think that like that's not something that we can do, because like it's a scary world and we're consistently told a lot of the times that we can only do what's like already existing. But the amazing thing about success and achievement is that so much of it can be defined by yourself, and it's so much more worth it when you're the one that's creating it, when you're the one that's like going for it, creating this thing in itself, and you're paving the way for other people. And so if you follow your heart, the truth of the matter is that most likely other people are hearing the same call and ignoring it. And if you are like the fire starter, you know, like the trailblazer doing it, you're literally paving the road and paving the way for so many other people to do it. And then suddenly that will become a job title. Like before we were doing what we're doing right now, this wasn't a thing.
Not at all.
Not at all. But we're doing it, you know? And like, if I could have described when I was a kid that this would be my purpose, I don't even know how I would describe this at all. And so don't get caught up in what it's called or how you'll explain it to other people. It's just a matter of getting quiet and going inside and like listening to what your heart's saying, listening to your soul and being like, all right, every day is taking small actions. And somewhere along the line, it'll start to make sense and it'll get clear. But the way that it gets clear is in taking action and making a decision to try this thing.
Yeah.
That's the only way.
I think you find it along the pathway. I think that's kind of what it is. It's I don't think you sit in a chair and your purpose is like slaps you in the face one day like, oh, hey, I got it. I think like for me, like I found my purpose 4 months ago, let's say 4 months ago. Like I was walking that path, right? First I owned a gym. I was a football player that owned the gym. I was consulting and I wanted to start speaking. I didn't even know what I was speaking about up until like 4 months ago. And I was like, oh, it literally like, I stumbled into a hole. And so the whole was work with business owners. And it was, and like, I had someone give me clear distinction on why and how that matched with my entire life. And I was like, holy crap, it hit. And then that was because I was moving. A lot of people, they want to sit back and hope that one day, all of a sudden it's like, it'll wake up and just see you. But like you said, you kind of just got to start moving and it will become clear, because as you take action, it becomes real. The more real it gets, the more you can see it and the more everybody else can see it. Now it exists like this. Someone's like, we should do this. And someone's like, I don't know. And they're like, I'm gonna do it anyways. And it became real. Now this exists. And the fact that it exists, it's like, oh, I can see opportunities in that. I can see more I can do with this. So it's kind of that whole process. So someone listen, if you're listening right now, which I'm sure you're listening because you're watching, if you guys are having that thing, follow whatever your brain is saying, like go chase that. And like you said, create that pathway. Because I think that's key. There's some questions aside. Brian Helmick, who's an amazing dude. Brian Helmick, he's part of the reason I'm even doing this. He asked me to join something called Fire Alumni. Amazing human being, great father, great Christian man, like great dude. Mm-hmm. And he linked me up with these guys, and they introduced me to this guy named Brendan Burchard, which is how this whole thing you see. He says your purpose is where your knowledge, skills, abilities, and passion intersect, and I fully believe that. That's that little circle section.
That's amazing.
Kaj,
I just saw Brendan Burchard speak in Seattle a couple days ago.
Oh yeah, what's he talking about?
He kind of said his story, and you know how he like his motto is like the live, love, matter. Yeah. So it was like an hour speech, but that was the theme, and it was kind of stringing together like how he came across these things and through his struggles and whatnot, and what he's doing now, and it was amazing.
I get to see him actually. I crew all of his events. I'm one of the staff, so I'll be down
there
in Diego next week. Yeah, he's a good dude, man. He's really good. Like behind the scenes, he's as good of a human being, if not better, than you see in front of it. So it's amazing.
I love it.
All right. Anything else you want to cover? Because we have time.
Yeah. Can we
time. Go ahead. Keep going. That's what I do. I always close off with one question. It's a random question, and I let people hop on. So when you're done, you let me know. But there's no rush. Go ahead.
Is there no? Yeah, because I can. We can do this for a while. People are still here. I'm into it. People can come on and ask questions.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it. Shoot, I had trying to remember what it was that I just thought about when the dude talked about that purpose. Oh, got it. Okay. The one thing about kind of like going and seemingly like aimlessly going in a direction that your heart's calling you to go into. Mm-hmm. I want to tell you a little bit of a story. So one of the ways that I am here today was because in my third year of Cornell, when I was initially studying hospitality, and I wanted to build restaurants and hotels and that whole thing. And I did that for a bit in my younger years. And there was on my third year of Cornell, I was completely unhappy. I was in a relationship where like literally we talked about marriage, like we were really serious, and suddenly I started getting these feelings like he wasn't the right guy. Just everything was kind of happening all at once. And I bought a one-way ticket to South America and I backpacked alone. And while I was gone, I was like journaling, trying to figure out what happened and I was writing about love and relationships and what went wrong. And I was incorporating my notes from like my adult psychopathology class and my human bonding class and all these things. And I was just journaling. This was totally for myself, pure. I was just trying to figure out what happened. And in that process, it was almost like, like the universe was conspiring with me to show me that like this was what I was supposed to be doing, because all of a sudden, all of these people I hadn't spoken to in like years were messaging me on Facebook, randomly asking me for advice on love and relationships. And then every single person that I met in a hostel, whether it was Peru or Bolivia or Argentina, no matter where I was, for some reason, people would just come up to me and start asking me about relationships and love and whatever. And I would start telling them like the things that I was thinking about purely from my own journal. Mm-hmm. And all these people were like, oh, like, that's amazing. Like, thank you. That's really helpful. Like, that's great. Like, that really makes sense. And that makes me feel so much better. Mm-hmm. And suddenly I was like, okay, wait a minute. So this idea of before where I wanted to be like a psychotherapist in my like teenage years, that's what I wanted. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, like, I just helped all these people, like right now in this moment, like that just happened. And all of a sudden it felt so amazing to help people. And I think so much of the time, like we're looking for external validation and we're ignoring our internal roadmap. And I think that a huge thing about finding your purpose and being successful and achieving things is, how do you feel every moment? Do you feel amazing? Do you feel so energized? Like you can do this forever? That's it. That's a huge sign. And so yeah, that whole thing happened. And that was like, it was a whim. It was a whim that I booked a ticket. I heard my heart say it and I just did it. Yeah. And since then I've just been living in uncertainty, answering my heart and just going. And it's been amazing.
That sounds, for a lot of people, they're freaked out. They're like, I can't do that. But I get it.
Yeah. Well, getting comfortable in the discomfort is a huge thing that I know you believe in too.
It's my coach, Coach Tomlin, when I was with the Steelers. It's just a jersey right here. One of the statements he said that the most first time I ever heard it was, in order to be successful in the NFL, you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Nice.
That's it. Whether it's some of the weights, whether it's running, whether it's being in on the field, like whether it's having a coach yell at you, whether it's just living in life, like uncomfortable conversations. You got to get comfortable being uncomfortable everywhere in life, because most people don't want to venture into that. And so when you can get good in that, you naturally have the inset skills to do better than 90% of humanity, because they won't do it.
Yeah. So first of all, that's something that we always say in yin yoga. Like this is like a yoga class where you sit in an uncomfortable pose for like 10 to 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. And the reasoning behind it is to get you in a mental awareness that like, if you sit long enough in what's uncomfortable, you actually find comfort and you realize that like you can make it through anything. Yeah. And a huge part of like growth and achieving also is like being in that uncomfortable space. So that's kind of like what I talk about, like sitting in the dirt, right? If you want to grow a flower, if that's what you're achieving, you have to first sit in the dirt, plant a seed, sit there long enough, get like willing to be dirty, and you don't know what's going to happen above the surface. You have no idea. Yeah. But you like have faith and you're willing to sit there and allow it to happen. Mm-hmm. So yeah, dude, it's all about getting and be willing to go into uncertain spaces.
That's one big thing. You're going to be scared of it. It's going to be unnatural. It's going to be uncomfortable. But the thing is you won't know how good you can be in that space until you get into that space.
Yeah. Can you just repeat that? Did you all hear that? Because
you won't know how good you can be in that space until you get into that space.
Let me just heart it
up. I think you're already scared of it. I think at the end of the day, I thoroughly enjoy seeing what I'm capable of in those moments now. But again, I had to get into those moments to realize that I wasn't going to die. That's big. All right, I got your question. You ready for your crazy question? All right.
I'm ready for anything.
A portal opens to another world right in front of you. You do not know how long it'll stay open or if you'll be able to get back from wherever you're going after you get through. What do you do?
All right. First thing I would do, if the portal's like here, right? I would go to the side of it to see like if it's fake. So that's the first thing I would do is I'd literally walk to the side of it where like the opening, I would go here and I'd be like, what's behind this thing? Is this fucking real? Then upon seeing that it's real, I would try to gauge information. I'd like try to look in or whatever. If there was no way for me to find out what it was, as of right now, I wouldn't go. And I wouldn't go because I believe so strongly in the purpose that I have now and in my ability to create value in the world and contribute and help people, that it would be too selfish of me to go. And I'm beyond adventurous and I would love to find out, but I wouldn't go. If I'm 90 and the portal opens, I'm there.
All right.
So whoever asked, when I'm 90, just open that portal and I'll meet you there.
Oh, nobody asked that question. That was my random question.
Oh, that was your question?
I get a bunch. I have a random question I come up with for every interview. I want to know because I get to see your brain process in ways that it won't process outside of a weird question. Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna open up the seats. So if anybody out there in the ether, there's like 14, 15 people. Anybody wants to join this conversation, you can see the little spot that says open seat. You just click that or wherever, call in. I think it says call in. You can actually join us in this conversation. If not, then at some point we're going to close it up. But
let's do it.
I don't know. Wait. How's it the Jeopardy song go? Brian's joining. There it goes.
We're calling in Brian.
Brian. I was hoping he would actually. What's up, man?
How you doing?
I'm doing very well. It's good to see you.
I have no idea what I'm doing. Let's be fair with that.
None of us do.
No, we're just so fill us in, Brian, because the world needs to know who you are. So please share.
I am Brian. So I'm Brian Helmick. I'm a father. I'm a dad first, and a husband to my wife of 14 years. I'm a firefighter. I've been a firefighter for about 20 years. I'm currently a battalion chief here in East Contra Costa, and I also own a side business, which is called Fire Alumni. And what we do is we coach, counsel, and mentor folks to achieve their dreams. So we do conferences and workshops, and we just pour into people. We love on them and walk with them in life and try to help them be successful with their dreams. And on a side time, I run some foster kid camps, and I do that as a family with my kids and my wife, and that's keeps us busy. So that's a small shot of who I am.
I like it. Just so you guys know, he does this. I've actually presented at Fire Alumni. I've been to the kids' camps. He's invited me. I've had a blast doing it and sharing. It's the things I do that nobody else knows about. But I think you're the perfect person to have on here because you're a guy that has success, right? You have a business, you give back, you have a family. Like you have what we would call the American dream, right? But I would say, like, what would you gauge and say is like your version of success for where you're at now? Like, what is the biggest things that mean the most to you?
The barometer of my success, actually, I look at my kids. My kids are so innocent, and they see the world through a wholly different lenses than I do. So I really look at my bride, I look at my kids, and I look at those around me. And I don't gauge my own success on my own, myself. I really let those around me define if I'm being successful. And I gauge a lot of my success. It's all rooted in love and see good fruit that's coming out of the people that are around me. And the world is hard, man. I mean, day to day, just to live and to survive, it's very, very tough. And I don't let the Joneses or other people really gauge what success is, but I do see that those are around me if they're growing. Because again, like I said, life's hard. So those that are around me, if they're being successful, they're working through their challenges in a healthy way. They're not getting beat down and lifted up. And so for me, success is truly measured by how I can pour into others' lives. And I just think that seeing people grow around me in a positive light and be able to achieve their dreams and be able to have a small portion of that, that's what success is to me. So it's difficult to meet to the world's level what success is. And I think it's a myth. I don't buy into what the world defines as successful because people will classify a lot of people being successful, but they don't have a family. They may have a lot of money, but they feel alone and empty inside. And so I don't seek those things. I seek relationships. I help trying to help people achieve their dreams. And through that's where I find my happiness, is seeing others succeed. Yeah,
so I fully agree. We're all on the same page, all three of them.
Good.
That's pretty much it, I think, at this point, because I play in the NFL, right? And I had businesses and made money, but it's like after a while you just sit back, you're like, this doesn't make me like wake up and feel like I'm in love with my life. And I think it's not till I started like sharing and like you said, you get these messages of people saying like, you helped me like that. That's really indescribable until you get it. When you get it, you're like, dang, like I had people send messages like I was going to kill myself till I watched your video. It's like, whoa,
that's crazy. Yeah.
It's really, it's crazy. And it's like, I don't even know, like, I don't know if happy is the word to describe it, but it's like, I would probably say like I was doing what I was supposed to be doing on purpose.
There's a
I'll tell you something else. I mean, I coach, counsel, and mentor a lot of people aspiring to become a firefighter, and they always come back and say, you know, like they got the badge, they got the job, they're living what they would call their dream, and they're like, how much can I pay you? How can I pay you back? And for me, my thing is like, just invite me to your badge pinning ceremony. Let me get to see you on the stage and watch your loved one pin it on you. Yeah. I mean, that's priceless. I mean, so same thing what you guys are doing. You pour in and invest into people that are what they would consider an all-time low, and the world's just beating up on them, and you sit alongside of them and give them the courage to take that next step, make that jump, and then you see them actually do it and find success. I mean, to me, there's not a dollar amount that can ever never meet that level of pleasure, and at least in my world.
True. No, same here.
Same. It's such a level of fulfillment. It's so hard to describe. And one thing I really want to, tell like viewers right now, it doesn't matter if you have a platform, if you have a business, or if you're doing something in a seemingly big way. It's not about that. It's about helping people in the moment and like walking down the street and noticing that like someone kind of looks down and going up and like smiling and just like being kind and showing compassion. Like that's the same exact way of like helping someone or getting one of these messages from a stranger. Like it can be done every single day in your life.
Yeah.
And so don't believe in like these limitations or these beliefs that like you're not there yet or that you can't help someone. Like you always can.
Yeah. I think it's
one thing I like about both you guys, one thing I really like about it, especially you trucks. I mean, the thing is people have this perspective that you are this icon in some degree. But the thing about it is, I mean, you're a guy. I mean, the thing is what I love about it is that even though you continue to climb and God continues to bless you in all that you do, my thing is that you are transparent and real. And the thing is the transparency and saying that you're real and the struggles and the trials, the tribulations that you go through on a daily basis, the doubts that you have among yourself and how the world continues to beat you down. When people can see that happening in your life and with us here today, and they know that they're not alone in that, regardless of where they are in their life, that is a catalyst to people being successful in their own lives. Because if they're sitting there saying you're experiencing those things and I'm experiencing those things, I can get through it. So, I mean, Trucks, I follow you a lot more, but what I mean by that is you being transparent where you are and where you continue to go, that will encourage people all by itself on that moment alone. So that's something, just being real and not putting up this facade like, now that I'm at this level or this status, or I'm doing these things, or I have this silly title or whatever it may be, that I'm not bothered by those things anymore.
Yeah.
And so being real and transparency, it's a beautiful thing. That's what I really appreciate that you do.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it. The odd part is I think it helps me more because I don't have any pent up energy or like pressure or have like these weird feelings of like, oh, am I supposed to share that? I just, it just comes out. But it works. And I find that I think some of the day asked me, I said, what's your superpower, Anthony? Like, you know what? I think my superpower is I can just connect to people. But the reason I can connect is because I open myself wide. So they're like, well, shoot, he's going to share all that. Like I can share me too. And then like we can then work together. Like have people walk away like, man, I feel like this weight's been lifted. And it's not that I'm a counselor. I don't do anything. I just talk. But I talk from a place of being really there and present with them, like opening up who I am to share that person.
Yeah,
it works.
I agree. I love what you do, and I love the time that we're living in because it allows all of us to do that. And the thing that's amazing is like people they don't want to follow like brands or these people that are like, kind of putting on the facade and pretending that they're perfect and pretending that they're not, because that's not what's moving. That's not what's inspirational. That's not what can actually help someone. And the more that we're willing to be courageous and vulnerable and show our downs and our lows just as much as our highs and be completely transparent all along the way, like that's really how you move people. And it's an amazing thing when I see people really as big, as successful as you, still being open, being real, staying in it and saying like, you know what, I'm still human. Like I still have my bad days, just like everybody else.
I think part of it also is a part of my faith. Like I realize I'm just human. I am just a guy. Like I'm always going to be a guy. Like I'm never going to be special or different. Like I'll always stop and just talk to people, because I think that's humanity. And I think, like you said, my version of success is not the followers and that kind of stuff. I just want to follow so I can show, like, hey, this is what you can also do when you get to whatever level. Just don't look for the money, because the money, it's gone. It comes and goes. I don't know. It's just like Brian said, it's the relationships. I love my relationships with humans. Yeah. And
the more relationships you get, the larger your reach is, and it just continues to grow. And I think that especially for you and where you guys are going, I think that actually your success is going to be ultimately gauged by your humility. And if you lose your humility and who you are, and if you actually think that it is about you and you're not serving a bigger purpose, you're done. Yeah. I mean, you may not be done today, but you're done.
You're done.
So humility is the beginning and the ending of success. I think that's a huge, those that are successful the longest, that finish strong, which I think is a huge component of what we all strive to do, is not how we start, but how we finish. I think humility is the thing that makes that work.
I agree.
I totally agree too. I love that.
I feel all good inside right now.
I know, right? I'm like,
yeah, I love it.
All right. Well, I do have to hop off. I got to get my son over to baseball practice, my daughter to gymnastics. But seriously, enjoy every moment of this with you guys. It's great. Appreciate it. You
Ryan, guys watching? It's meeting you, and Anthony.
This whole thing's a new app. I don't even know. I put this app on just to be able to get over from Facebook. I don't even. Know. I have no idea.
I don't know who Blab is, but I'm trying to get Blab out there, because it's just cool. It's like a live. People can communicate and ask what you can hop on. It's really, really unique. I love it. I really like it. All right, so I'm gonna. How can people get a hold of you, Jenna?
You can find me on my website at jennagalbut.com.
Okay.
You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Periscope, YouTube, Pinterest, literally everything. I want to be wherever like your primary mode is, like I'm there for you.
Gotcha.
But yeah, definitely connect with me, reach out to me. You can message me. I answer everything. And yeah, I'm really excited to connect with everyone. And I hope that this helped.
I'm sure it did. You'd be surprised. Actually, everybody I've been on with afterwards, they say they get a whole bunch of more like people following them, ask them questions and messages. So hopefully it follows through with you as well. Brian, man, how can people get a hold of you? Because you do some awesome stuff.
Wow.
Why not?
Brian Helmick. Yeah. BHELMICK at firealumni.com. I am on Facebook. That's my family's all over that thing. That's really what it is. But I really don't have a following, Anthony. This is it, man.
Well, are we allowed to friend you?
You can friend.
What's that?
Are we allowed to
friend away? Absolutely. Yeah.
Cool.
No, absolutely. This is what I do. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, I am, if you guys follow me, Anthony Trucks, if you guys want information on me, go to anthonytrucks.com, and then make sure you guys go to renewuniversity.com. It's this course that I'm starting in May.
It's awesome.
I get all cheesy every time I think about it, because I've spent so much time making this thing amazing. It's going to be the best thing the world's seen in terms of the online course structure, what I've created. So renewuniversity.com. That's it. Thank you guys, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Love
you all.
All right. Love you guys. See ya.
Bye.
All right.
How do I hang up?
Oh,
I can't hang up either.
How do I get out of here?
Well, usually what happens, so I stop recording and we can still float around. I mean, I have to go, so I have to close it. But
it says that I'm still recording over here.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Well,
so are people watching us, or is it just
they're watching us. They're still in here.
This is awesome.
Does anyone have any requests? Should we pick our noses? Like, what's going on?
Who's recording this?
Oh, I'm recording it.
Anthony.
So you're recording it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't hang up. I don't know what to do.
I think can you hang up, Anthony, on everybody? Is that you end it?
Yeah.
Oh, he did it. Oh, you're still there.
I think I'm still recording. I think we might just need to exit out of this this tab.
Well, it was a pleasure meeting you.
Yeah, it was really nice meeting you too. I love what you're doing.
I just one day at a time.
Yeah, like the rest of us.
All right. Well, I'm going to try to bounce out. So, all right. Take care. Bye-bye.
You too.